I believe that Pluribus will end on a brutally sad note, just like Vince Gilligan's two other shows, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Vince Gilligan's characters never have happy endings. Instead, their stories end on ironically sad notes. In Breaking Bad, Walter White, arguably the best methamphetamine cook in the whole wide world, he ends up in a meth lab. And in Better Call Saul, Jimmy, a corrupt lawyer who has been slipping through the cracks for so many years, decades I think, he ends up locked up behind bars, needing a lawyer himself, and he gets sentenced to 86 years I think. I have a feeling that Vince Gilligan will continue that trend of sad endings even on Pluribus because it works. It worked for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I'm sure he thinks it will work on this one too. I think that too. And I think in Pluribus, things will continue to go wrong and gradually get worse for not just our protagonist Carol Stoker, but for Manusos and the entire human existence, because that's what the show is about. It's about saving the world. In today's video, I'll be telling you why I think Pluribus will also end on a sad note, and I'll be talking about a few possible sad scenarios that Pluribus could end on. I believe that if people find success in something, they will continue to do said thing and keep milking it until they stop seeing success with it. Why fix it if it's not broken? And this is the main reason why I expect Pluribus to have a brutally sad ending. Breaking Bad had a negative ending, but was incredibly successful. So did Better Call Saul. Yes, I understand that the endings were not the only reasons why these shows were successful the way they were, but we often see how bad endings can taint or bring down the goatness levels of a show. How a show can go from great to just good, or even just okay because of a dissatisfying ending. Because Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul broke our hearts but still were this successful, I believe that Vince Gilligan will break our hearts once again with the ending of Pluribus, and I believe that this time it will hurt even more because he has experience of doing this. He will build us up, make us fall in love with the characters, give us hope, and when he has us eating from the palm of his hand, when our guard is down, he will tear us down. He will break our hope. That's what I think. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are crime shows. Pluribus is not. It's a sci-fi. Walter White and James McGill, they kinda got what they deserved. They had it coming. They had ruined so many lives and broke so many laws. It was only a matter of time until the consequences of their actions caught up to them. Does that now mean that Carol from Pluribus should face the same consequences or jail time? Not really, at least not yet. Even though by the second episode of season 1, Carol had erased millions of people from Earth, way more than Walt and Jimmy combined. She almost Zosia. She got an atomic bomb that I suspect she will use to subtract a few more million people from Earth. I still don't think she deserves to be offed or locked up. By the time of making this video, Carol's actions are still mostly justified and understood by myself, and I hope the entire audience understands and can justify why she's doing the things she's doing. However, I believe that as the show goes on, the writers will make us hate Carol with each turning point of the story until we are completely fed up with her, that we wish that she faces the unlubed dildo of consequences. Just like it happened with Walt, we started off cheering for him, feeling sorry for him even, but by the end of the show, we hated him. At least I did. Maybe not hate, but I felt strongly about him needing to be stopped and facing the music. Even Jimmy was also a criminal who was using the law, who was bending the law to his own benefit. But by the end, he got what he deserved. As for Carol, it's already distasteful of her to be hating her fans the way she does, the way she always complains about everything, not appreciating the things that Helen did for her, her selfishness. I believe these characteristics will be catalysts to Carol's demise. Even besides Carol, the Earth, the entire humanity, the Earth's population is at risk of going extinct, and we probably deserve it. Look at how much we are destroying the Earth. The pollution, the wars, the emotional, psychological, and physical abuse we inflict on each other, the way we misuse our resources, the degenerosity we indulge in, doing anything for pleasure and money, the way we have come to worship celebrities and worldly things. I think we are headed for destruction in real life, not just in the movie, but the show is a representation of who we are. Even though the endings of those two shows, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, had negative endings, they weren't all bad. They were kind of bittersweet, if I may put it like that. Bittersweet. They had silver linings. At the end of Breaking Bad, Walt but before he was able to see and hold his daughter one last time and make sure that she has an inheritance to give Skylar, his wife, his ex-wife, some closure and free Jesse, his partner in crime, from that hellhole of a prison he was in. At least before he died, he was able to do that. At the end of Better Call Saul, Jimmy, as much as he got handed a lengthy sentence, 86 years I believe, he was able to escape from his bad side, his alter ego, Sleeping Jimmy, Saul Goodman. He went to prison with a clear conscience, making his ex-wife Kim, as well as himself, proud, as well as Chuck from above, because Chuck always knew that Jimmy was going to end up behind bars, that he will never change. But him telling the truth and owning up to his mistakes, it showed that he was actually changing for a change. Pause. As for Pluribus, there are many ways the said ending could happen, and everything I have said up till this point and I'm about to say is just guesswork. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I heard someone likening the atomic bomb in Pluribus to the M60 machine that Walter White used in Breaking Bad, a that ended up Walt. The same could happen in Pluribus. Carol could end up herself whilst trying to use the atomic bomb to save the world or distract the signal, or something like that. Carol could run out of time and have her frozen eggs used by the hive to join her with them. She could work hard with Manusos, but just as they are about to crack the code and find a cure, they could just join her without her will, just like that. Or the end of the world could happen. Vince Gilligan could edge us by keeping our hopes up that Carol and Manusos or other people who will maybe join them, that they could save the world, but they may end up failing and the world could actually come to an end. Humanity as we know it could go extinct after hoping for about 4.5 seasons or 3.5 seasons. There are so many scenarios I could imagine, but I think my point is clear. I keep finding myself expecting everything in the show's universe to go back to normal. I have so much hope in Carol and Manusos. I have this hope that I can't let go of. Maybe it's because I'm used to seeing happy endings on screen. But then I look at who's making this show. It's a pessimist that I'm familiar with.
What kind of man you are.
So I'll just reserve my hope. In conclusion, if I could have it my way, if I'm gonna be honest, I would actually love for this show to have a brutally, ironically sad negative ending. I love it when that happens. Those shows or movies with that kind of ending always stays with me. And just to mention a few movies which have this kind of negative ending, it's Parasite, which I've also done multiple breakdowns in this channel. It's Requiem for a Dream. It's The Girl with the Needle, which I just watched recently and I'm gonna make a video on, and many more. Those movies move me the most. Those kind of stories move me the most. They bring me back down to earth. They satisfy me the most and I hope I get the same with Pluribus. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.